Welcome live, everybody, to TV Sports 27. Glad to be back streaming with you live here. We are streaming with you on this Saturday. It is June 10th. Glad to have you guys here joining us live on Twitch with all of the action. And we were just trying to watch the USFL a few moments ago. They've been in a rain delay for hours and hours and hours. So I said, you know what? Forget it. We're going to stream football. And I think the plan is to do two games here today. We're going to wrap up week 14 as we're getting closer and closer. We are getting closer and closer to the end of the season here, getting close to the playoffs, and we're going to get a little dent into week 15 here. So we got a big one, and I'm thinking tomorrow for Patreon Sunday, how about we do a double dose of WWE 2K and we get to our Halloween Havoc mega event, huh? How's that sound? So we got football, we got 2K. We'll see what the schedule brings for us. Let's take a look at what we got here as far as standings. This one is going to be kind of a battle of opposite records, if you will. You got the Lumberjacks, who've already clinched a postseason berth, 11-1. It's Russell Wilson. It's the best of the Denver Broncos. They're cruising high to this 11-1 record. They got to deal with this Dublin squad, and they are in the what the heck division are they? They are in the East, and they are at 6-6. So they are still, an outside shot of catching the Toronto Huskies and getting that playoff berth. But you got to think a game like this, coming down to it, it is pretty much looking like it is going to be a must-win battle. So this should be pretty big. Let's take a look at and see if we got any injuries here before we jump into it. Second time we've seen the Celtic Tigers here on the stream, and Renus Williams is going to be out for a few more weeks, and Terrell Davis, so actually one of our Bronco All-Stars, down for a couple of weeks with an injury. So we'll see if that will negatively affect the Lumberjacks here at all. Let me turn controller number 2 on here. As you guys know, this is the RXFL. If you have not joined us here before, I control both sides of the ball. I control offense on both teams and kind of let the computer do their thing on defense. So I don't think Celtic Tigers have any uniform changes now. They just have that. So, and as far as the Lumberjacks, I think you can go brown or red. Yeah, so let's shuffle it up. Let's randomize it, and we are going to stop. All right, they're going to be in the red. The red on the road. A lot of big news about Madden 24, as there's supposed to be a bunch of new relocation cities on our stream yesterday where we did some of our WWE 2K stuff. We talked about some of those different cities. I've been reading more stuff on Reddit. I don't know how accurate or not, but been reading on Reddit about how that you don't get a choice of uniform options this go around. Like in this Madden, you got to pick from a couple different predetermined sets. So that may or may not determine if we bring the RXFL over when we eventually buy the newer Madden, depending on how glitchy or messy this new one is or not. We may just stick with Madden 20 and just keep doing our thing. And we're also hoping that, there's a lot of hype for Maximum Football. So maybe Maximum Football is supposed to be this big business game. And that, obviously is a place where we can create a lot of teams. So we'll just have to see as we push forward. But for now, it is the Portland Lumberjacks and the Celtic Tigers of Dublin here. And it's rainy. Hey, look at this. USFL, they went into a rain delay with Memphis and New Orleans. Us, the RXFL, we're powering through. We don't have any rain delays. We power right on through. These folks are fired up as their guys are ready to do battle between the Portland Lumberjacks and the Dublin Celtic Tigers. With Charles Davis, as always, I'm Brandon Gaudin. Charles, you talk about storylines in this one. I think it begins and ends with our two quarterbacks, certainly two of the best in the business. And nowadays, I don't think you can get by for long periods of time. So I want to see who's going to be starting for the Celtic Tigers, because they were showing Phillip Rivers. There you see Rod Smith, another one of the Broncos legends that has part of this Lumberjack squad. Terrell Davis out with an injury, but let's see. Let's look at what we got depth chart wise here before Graham Gano kicks it away for the black and green here in Dublin. Monday night in Dublin. This is big business. What time must it be in the States? What's the time difference here for Dublin? So you see Dandy Don, who has been the starter. Of course, you got Jaws here as well, but they were showing Phillip Rivers getting some starts before. Maybe they see Rivers at it. Who knows? But as we get on, we're gonna conclude Week 14, and we want to thank those of you that are joining us, watching us live on Twitch. If you're watching live on Twitch, hit that follow button. TV Sports 27, twitch.tv/TV Sports 27. As we mentioned before, we probably got about 20% of the followers on Twitch that we do on YouTube, so way under what our YouTube viewership is. So let's get those numbers up on Twitch. If you want to join us live, if you want to get these episodes way in advance, so we stream everything live on Twitch, we upload it to YouTube, and we do a daily release on YouTube. So right now, we're streaming this episode. It is June 10th. This probably won't make it on YouTube until like July, mid-July. I think July 15th, 16th is maybe when this episode is going to go up. So you can see this episode a whole month in advance if you join us here on Twitch, twitch.tv/TV Sports 27. Those of you that are watching on YouTube, we appreciate it as well. Our YouTube numbers have been going up a whole bunch lately, especially for the RXFL, so thank you for that. Hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button on YouTube. We're still reaching and looking for 1,000 subscribers, so let's see if we can hit that goal. You got David Johnson, who's in the mix, who's trying to revitalize his career after it kind of, went a little downward from his time with the Houston Texans. He's playing in relief here for the injured Terrell Davis. So subscribe, follow here on YouTube, and of course, patreon.com/TV Sports 27. Tomorrow is Patreon Sunday, so that went way over the top for inaccurate throw for Russell Wilson. Patreon Sunday, so we're looking to get a double dose of WWE Dark tomorrow on Patreon, so be on the lookout for that. We're going to be streaming, of course, a lot more RXFL action. Maybe even some Thursday night games if we try to speed the season along. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? And, yeah, so patreon.com/TV Sports 27. And we'll see what happens on this third down play. And Russell Wilson, we've seen a lot this week between Mike Vick, between Lamar Jackson, who have run roughshod over defenses here. It has been all about the running quarterback in the RXFL. Patreon shoutouts. If you want to get a shout out here, if you want to see your name read on the air, a couple of different ways you can do it. You can join us on patreon.com/TV Sports 27 as a mega fan or an ultra fan. So let's get with our mega fan shout outs. A big thank you, Justin Russell, Jonathan Harrigan, Mr. Maple, and our ultra fan K Duckman. Thank you so much for being Patreon Ultra Fan Mega Fans. We also have our Ko-Fi link if you tip us or donation during a stream, of course, whether it be a super thanks or the Ko-Fi donation or the tip or the PayPal. We will, of course, read your name out and shout out whatever kind of message you got for us here as a big thank you for donating to TV Sports 27 while we're streaming live with you guys. So, good opening drive for the 11-win Lumberjacks, and you're seeing exactly why this team is 11-1 right now, why they are the class of the league. Portland, of course, coming in the Revolution League. They were the Portland Ironmen. They had some tumultuous times. They moved around for a bit. They were a team without a city for a while. Then they settled in San Diego, and there's Bronco to Bronco. Russell Wilson to Rod Smith, touchdown, Lumberjacks. So opening drive in a do-or-die game for the Celtic Tigers season. And it's an easy touchdown in the rain. And even without Terrell Davis Lumberjacks not missing a beat at all. Cam Newton on to hold, and the extra point is booted through. It is good. 7-0 Portland over Dublin. Pat McAfee for the brand. Kicking it off deep. And we're going to see our opening drive for Dublin. And we're going to see who comes out at quarterback. Been a lot of talk this week. See Coach Brian Flores, and they are going to send Dandy Don back out there. And he's not played bad. Obviously, you look at the numbers. Those are good numbers, but a 6-6 record is obviously not what you want to see. But with the playoffs on the line, sticking with Dandy Don.
He's buying gifts for all the guys who helped him along the way. And I know that the team wants to
lined up in the backfield, Walter Payton, Sweetness, who spent his first 5 years in the Revolution League with Tim Tebow in Gainesville. The Gainesville clash, and they had one of the more dominant rushing attacks in Revolution history between Tebow and Walter Payton. But it has not been a good start there for Walter Payton as in this one. He gets tackled way behind the line. And second down, and there we go. Now Walter Payton gets the opening. And that would have been a first down if he hadn't have lost all that yardage on the opening drive. Do they give it to Payton? 3 plays in a row here. Indeed they do, and he finds the opening. First down, Celtic Tigers. What have you guys been up to? What have you guys been playing lately? What have you guys been watching? Of course, I've been playing a lot of Breath of the Wild. A lot of Breath of the Wild playing. We've progressed. We're still going to do 1 or 2 more Breath of the Wild streams here on TV Sports 27 at some point. But I want to get a little further in the game. I've made it to the first of the 4 cities. It's not really a spoiler because I think you guys know what the different cities are, because it's the same ones from the original game, but the Zora domain, which I think was where I went to the first one too, the first time I played in, and there's everyone's favorite free agent right now, DeAndre Hopkins. In the first game, Breath of the Wild, I think I ended up at the Zora domain first. I don't set out like in any particular path, I just kind of go. I mainly look for shrines, and I keep going till I hit a city, and that's what happened again this time, so oddly enough, took a very similar path on Tears of the Kingdom here. Game Grumps as well, as I'm streaming live here in June, dropped their first episode of Tears of the Kingdom, and I've already watched that. It was an hour and a half today, and it was fantastic. Fantastic stuff, so do check that out. The Game Grumps. That's what they need my promotion. They got millions and millions of subs. I just got a couple hundies. Dandy Don, Algie Crumpler, touchdown. And the Celtic Tigers respond.
In for 6 as his guys are on the board here in this first quarter. Boy, it's nice to have that big, reliable target you can go to.
each and every time. A lot of people see that position as a fallback. Throw it to them when all else fails. Not at all. This guy can make plays, and that's exactly what he just did.
Yeah, play here for a touchdown.
Well, that was huge. That was big to establish here for the Celtic Tigers that, hey, you guys had the opening drive touchdown. We're not going to get shoved around in this. We're fighting for first place in our division. We want to be East champs. 2 opening drives, 2 touchdowns here on Monday night, wrapping up Week 14. After this, we're going to do a Week 14 recap. I think you guys seem to like that a little better. It's easy for you guys to find it on YouTube if it's separate. I used to always just do the recap at the end of the Monday night game, but I'll make it a separate video on YouTube, and you guys will be able to get a look at the Week 14 results. You'll get a recap, and you'll see what's coming up in Week 15. As, like I said, we are getting increasingly closer to the end of the season and into the postseason. Hope you guys have enjoyed the Legends journey, the RXFL journey. Said this is kind of a streamed off of what we did from our 2K8, the whole idea of doing a Legends League. We have done leagues before where we kind of just make up our own teams, and Russell Wilson will run forward and gets the first down. But since modern games have kind of taken away our create a team ability. You know, you can't really create teams and logos and anything anymore unless you play an older game. I think NCAA 14 was like the last game that gave us that, right, for a football game. So we had been doing 2K8 for a while, and those have all the legends. That's kind of where we got the idea of the Legends League. And then, you know, we decided to bring it to Madden, and we got a couple of the relocation teams, and then we kept a couple of the NFL teams but changed the unis around and got 32 full Legends rosters here. And it's been big business since then. Russell Wilson, it is caught. Wow, what a catch by Shorner.
He's already topped his receiving output from a week ago, and we're just in the first quarter, as that's a first down.
Del Schofner. He was pretty well covered, too. And in the rain. It's tough to do in the rain. Come on. Bouncing the outside, David Johnson for the brown and red of Portland.
Back-to-back nice gains. That one for 14 yards.
First down.
Well, they're making an effort to get the ground game going tonight. So far, it's working.
I like what we're seeing from the offensive line. They seem to have the leverage going and they're controlling things. And
Dublin. A lot more international cities that they've added in the new Madden. And you guys can check out that list. It's all over Reddit, on Twitter. They've only added like 4 or 5 U.S. cities, and the rest of them are all international, which is kind of crazy. Good for the variety, but David Johnson again.
A nice pickup of 6 there to get him closer to the end zone, and it'll be second and goal. From the 2 now, second.
Look at this, interesting. They are lined up in the shotgun formation here. Russell Wilson going to change things around, and he read that they were coming all the way, and that's a huge credit to Russell Wilson, who saw that they were bringing the heat. He changed the play, quick pass out to Schofner, who had a really big drive with his double coverage catch and that touchdown. And my goodness, folks, it's 14-7 here, and we've had nothing but deep touchdown drives so far in the dub in Dublin. What would Dublin Stadium be? What would, for those of you that are Dublin natives, I know we have a couple folks from across the way that watch us here from that area, and maybe not Dublin. I know a few folks from the UK that do tune in that were watching our YouTube streams previously. What's the big stadium in Dublin? What would this stadium be? All right, Don Meredith company, they will look to respond here as the Celtic Tiger defense has done no favors here, and boy, Walter Payton thought he was going to slip right through. Chris Handberger. Payton's got over 1,000 yards rushing, so he is up there. So time will tick down in our first quarter, and what's been an exciting first quarter if you like offense. And Dandy Don, incomplete. Brandon Marshall, who's normally sure-handed, and you know, it is raining, so you give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, but Brandon Marshall can't come down with it, and I think that's our very first incompletion of the game between either of these two teams. So 3rd and 8, and Meredith, and caught by Ben Coates for the first down. Defense is playing a little loose in this game on both sides. Either these receivers are just finding a way to break free, or defenses are just really playing loose here. Walter Payton, saw him kind of waiting for some of his blockers to get set up. Been a slow start to his ball game so far.
Sets up a very manageable second down, a very solid gain on that play.
2nd and 6. With a catch made by Hopkins.
Quick pass out to D-Hop, DeAndre Hopkins.
If you're going to blitz, likely going to leave you in man coverage with this guy, and that is less than ideal.
Dublin.
Just about any offense that has an elite receiver,
They have a nice little drive going. The only thing that's stopping them right now is their inability to establish the run, which with Walter Payton is extremely surprising.
When you think of Mike Daniels, you think of strength. Hard to knock off the football, but surprising quickness.
Meredith in the gun here. Play fake.
How about that play there?
And he's going to go, and it's a touchdown.
In for the score. As they are an extra point away now from tying this.
That's not Shannon Sharp. I know we got a lot of Broncos legends out there. That's Sterling Sharp.
But hey, they did the job.
And the defense always preaches getting off the field, making a play.
Sterling Sharp with the touchdown. And Dublin answers. 4 touchdowns in the first 4 drives.
Gano now to add the extra point.
Man, we just uploaded on YouTube. It just dropped the other day, the game between Columbus and the London Monarchs that had like 7 drives and 6 touchdowns. We might match that right here. This is incredible, folks. 14-14 in Dublin town.
This will be taken about the 12. And he's up across the 25 and down at the 20.
Ashley Morgan. And Russell Wilson, who is having a much better RXFL season than he did with the Denver Broncos this year. All eyes on Russell Wilson in real life, as Bronco fans are waiting to see the Russ of Seattle, but he's cooking right now in Portland. 11-1 record. In the gun here, and Russell Wilson is going to roll out, and he decides to flip it at the last minute to Schofner.
And to the 36-yard line, taken down there after getting 8 yards.
Interesting decision, but he got 8 yards out of it. I mean, Schofner was wide open. David Johnson squeezes through. They are, I believe, going to give him the first down here. Yes, they are. First down. Has the USFL game started back up yet? Wilson. Caught by Rod Smith. Russell Wilson, 8 of 9.
At the 49, call that a gain of 11. On first and 10, it's Wilson.
And that one was way off the mark.
Just his second incompletion so far. He's 8
So
for
2 of
10.
his rough passes have been kind of high ones, and it could be the rain. You know, is the rain causing an issue here? Oh, and that one, looking for Rod Smith down the field, incomplete. So back-to-back incompletions all of a sudden for the Lumberjacks.
Yeah, he did. Couldn't connect, but as you alluded to, he does have that touchdown from earlier, trying to keep him in the rhythm.
And Wilson wants to go deep again. Oh, it's tipped incomplete. Rod Smith was fighting for it. And, well, a promising drive, and there's going to be your first defensive stop of Monday Night Football here. So Pat McAfee will come on and try to boot this one in play. And it's going to go out of the back of the end zone. Didn't we make up some rule if there was like a touchback? You got like a free 5 yards or something? I don't know. Should we put that rule in? We'll just try. We'll just try to make a concerted effort. No kicking the ball out of bounds. I guess you can kick it out of the back of the end zone, but if you kick it out of bounds, it's a penalty. How's that? Still much of the same for Walter Payton. The rain, and usually in a rainy game, obviously, you lean on your running game because the passing game with the weather is usually not quite there, but it has been quite the opposite right now for the Celtic Tigers. However, 3rd and inches, you're going to think an obvious running situation here. Man, that did not work either. They put Ben Coates in motion and tried to pick up the block. And after a bunch of really nice opening drive touchdowns. We get back-to-back defensive stops here. Ashley Morgan on your kick return. And he's driven down. Let's see if the USFL game has started back up yet.
So here are visitors to take over on offense.
I gotta watch the second half of the Impact pay-per-view as well. I watched about half of it this morning. Catch the second half later today. Let's see, USFL. Because I don't know what these local affiliates are going to do. My local NBC station, are they just going to sit around and wait for this thing? They're still in this delay, man. David Johnson, who's having a much better performance here than Walter Payton. Did you think you'd ever hear that? The next update will come at 4:45 Central, so that's 5:45. Good Lord. Pressure coming. Wilson gets rid of it. It's completed.
15 yards on the play, first down.
Completion was given up, and that's why you play zone defense, so that you can have
people are getting restless on Twitter. I'm getting restless. Well, we're here. We're powering through. They do rain delays in the USFL. In the RXFL, we play through the rain. No rain delay here. Russell Wilson, play fake. And look in, and he gets sacked. He tried to wind up and get rid of it. Rondé Barber. And it's a little surprising. You know, you look at this stacked defense. They got Rondé Barber. They got Coach Prime out there. You would think this team would be a lot better defensively. They're starting to get it together here in this game. Wilson going deep. Rod Smith. Oh, it's a couple times that he's looked deep for Rod Smith. I think that was Coach Prime that might have knocked it down out there. I think I saw 21, which would be Dion. Rod Smith, did he get enough for the first down? They're going to call him short at the 42. It'd be a really long field goal.
They didn't get the first down, but I have to say I do like the call. I like what they were trying to do.
59 yards. They're going to go for it. Lumberjacks in Celtic Tiger territory. David Johnson almost got dropped. He gets the first down. How about it? Pete Carroll, run the ball on 4th and short, right? That's what you got to do. You don't throw the ball, you run the ball. Oh, man, that'll never get old. Classic moment in pro football history. Wilson to Smith. So the deep passes for Rod Smith have not been able to connect just yet. Russell Wilson's had him, though. He's had the vision of Rod Smith. They're going to go empty set on 2nd and 1 here. Pressure was on for a moment. And Wilson forced it in there, incomplete. 3rd and 1. Brian David Johnson here. They are going to pass it, and they're going to go deep to Schofner. How about that call?
Such a good route runner. Shows it there on 3rd down. Very proficient and a good pass.
And you know what I've observed over the years in the NFL?
Are we going to break the deadlock? Corner. Incomplete. Knocked down by Rondé Barber. Rondé Barber swatted that one away. That looked like a touchdown, folks. And Rondé Barber, the legend himself, knocking that one away. Wilson finds David Johnson. In less than a minute, no one's calling any timeouts here. Celtic Tigers, they want to try to get the ball back. And it's an easy walk-in touchdown. Vincent Jackson, 3 touchdown passes for Russell Wilson here in the first half.
Touchdown gives them a touchdown lead before they attempt the extra point. What a great way to end the half.
Yeah, great job to put themselves in front, and now you see on the sideline, special teams defense scrambling, saying we want to preserve this for the final moments of this second quarter. Extra point right down the middle, and the lead is now 21-14.
So Dublin not electing to take any timeouts. They're not going to have that much time, but they do have 3 timeouts, depending on how many quick passes they can make out of it. So you question taking timeouts, but I mean, either way, you either save all 3 of them or you burn them up and you have a bunch of time with no timeouts. So we'll see how Coach Flores plays this one here. They're going to line up in the I formation, so they don't seem too aggressive. It is going to be a play-action fake, and Don Meredith is going to be intercepted by Revis Island, Darrell Revis, and it's a disaster. It's a pick 6. Portland, are you looking at your future? Our XFL champions, the brown and red.
Not just stopping the run, not just getting after the quarterback, but the ball's in the air. They treat it like they're the receivers, and they went after that one and took it all the way.
Oh, I mean, they were looking. It's the classic Madden. They put an offensive lineman out there. So I think with that 20 seconds, depending on how this kick return goes, if you're Dublin, they will get the ball to begin the second half, which makes this hurt even more because you were looking at a tie. Now you're down by 2 scores. I think you get in there and you try to regroup. See what happens with 16 seconds. The game is just saying to give it up. So that's what we're going to do here. That's going to wrap up part 1, folks. If you guys are watching us live on Twitch, I see some of you guys in the comments. I see K Duckman is here. I see Mr. Maple is here. I see Zach is here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys are watching on twitch.tv/tvsports27, part 2 of this game is coming your way in minutes. We're going to be back on Twitch in just a couple of moments. Jump into the new room, and we're going to get the second half with you. We're going to get week 15, 15, I should say, started off as well. So jump into the chat with that action. If you guys are not on Twitch, if you're watching on YouTube, that's all good too. Take a look at some of the scores we've had from this week. It's been a wild week in the RXFL. Look at all the tight contests we've had. Part 2 on YouTube is coming your way tomorrow. Yes, it'll be uploaded tomorrow. It will drop tomorrow, and you guys will get part 2 and the conclusion of week 14 here in the RXFL. So YouTube, Twitch, follow, subscribe, thumbs up, patreon.com/tvsports27, and we'll see you guys later on for part 2.